I want you to imagine for a moment a young soul, full of hope, full of dreams, standing at the brink of the world's pressures and expectations. That child senses whispers all around, you must be perfect. You must not fail, you must fit in. And in that noise, the gentle voice of certainty, of self-trust is drowned. Today I stand before you because I believe we can teach that gentle voice to grow louder. I believe we can raise children who see themselves through the eyes of their Lord. Confident, rooted, and unshaken, even when the storms of doubt swirl around them. This is the journey I invite you on. How to raise confident Muslim children. Not confident by the world's measure, but confident by the measure that matters. There's something deeply sacred about the way a child looks at you. That pure gaze, full of trust, full of curiosity. You can almost see the reflection of your own soul in their eyes. And it's in that moment you realize the way they see themselves will depend on how we teach them to see. The world will tell them 1,000 things about their worth, their beauty, their intelligence, their place in society. But if we do not root their worth in something unshakable, they will spend their lives chasing validation that can vanish in an instant. True confidence, the kind that lasts, cannot come from achievements, appearances, or approval. It must come from knowing who they are before Allah. When a child grows up hearing, "You are honored because Allah made you. You are loved because Allah loves those who believe and try. You are enough because your Creator chose you." Then even when they stumble, even when the world mocks or rejects them, their heart remains grounded. Because they know their worth doesn't rise or fall with people's opinions. It's anchored in something eternal. We live in a world that sells insecurity. Every billboard, every screen, every voice tells our children, "You are not enough unless you buy this, wear this, look like this." And if we are not careful, those voices will drown out the quiet whisper of faith inside their hearts. That's why as parents, mentors, and believers, our first task is to protect their hearts from this storm. Not by isolating them, but by building within them a stronger foundation. A heart that knows its value through Allah can stand firm even in a world that thrives on comparison. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It's not about teaching our children to say, "I'm better." It's about teaching them to say, "I'm capable because Allah made me capable." It's the difference between pride and peace. Pride shouts, "I don't need anyone." True confidence whispers, "I have Allah and that's enough." To raise confident Muslim children, we have to create homes where they feel seen and heard. Too often, a child hides behind silence because they fear being judged. They fear disappointing us. But when a child knows that your love isn't conditional on their success, they bloom. Confidence grows in the soil of safety. It grows when a child knows, even if I fail, I'm still loved. So let's be gentle when they fall. Let's listen before we lecture. Let's hold them before we correct them, because the world will be harsh. Home should be the place they can return to and rebuild their hearts. Sometimes we think confidence comes from protecting them from every pain, every difficulty. But confidence actually comes from helping them face those struggles with faith. When your child comes home in tears because they were excluded or mocked or failed an exam, don't rush to erase their pain. Sit beside them in it. Teach them to say, "Allah sees me. Allah knows." Show them that resilience is not pretending everything is fine. It's turning back to Allah even when things are broken. When they see you do that, when they see you cry and still trust Allah, they learn a kind of strength no school can teach. Children don't learn confidence from lectures. They absorb it from watching. They study the way you speak about yourself. They watch how you handle disappointment. If every time you fail, you call yourself worthless, they'll internalize that. If every time life gets heavy, you turn to Allah with patience, they'll internalize that too. So we must model the faith we want them to embody. Let them see you make mistakes and then make dua. Let them see you struggle and then rise again. Let them witness humility married with perseverance. One of the most powerful lessons you can give your child is this: it's okay to not have it all together. Because Allah never asked perfection from us, only effort and sincerity. When you remind your child that even the prophets faced hardship, but their hearts never lost trust, You're teaching them that confidence and humility can coexist. You're teaching them that strength doesn't mean being invincible. It means standing firm even when you're trembling. And then, remember to pray for them. Sometimes we do everything right and still worry. We plant seeds, but it is Allah who makes them grow. So lift your hands and say, "Why Allah?" Protect their hearts from arrogance and despair. Let them see themselves through the light of your mercy. Because a child's confidence that begins with Allah will end with him. It will last when everything else fades. When your son stands to pray in front of people, not to be seen but because he knows Allah sees him, he's confident. When your daughter wears her hijab with dignity, not to please others but because she loves her Creator, she's confident. When your child says, "I'm sorry," without shame, because they know forgiveness is beautiful, this is confidence. This is faith turned into courage. So tonight, when you tuck your child into bed, tell them more than "good job." Tell them, "You are loved by Allah." Tell them, "You are strong because your heart belongs to Him." Tell them, "You never walk alone." These are the truths that echo long after we're gone. May Allah allow us to raise children who walk this earth with calm hearts and steady souls. Children who know their worth, not because of what they have or who they impress, but because they belong to the one who never stops loving them. May He make them lights for this ummah, gentle, courageous, and confident in His mercy. There's a deep longing in every parent's heart, the longing to see their child stand tall, not in arrogance but in quiet strength, to see them move through the world with peace in their eyes, dignity in their steps, and faith anchoring their hearts. We don't just want to raise successful children, we want to raise hearts that are whole. Because true success isn't measured in what they own or how loud they are, but in how deeply they know who they are before their Creator. Confidence is not something we can buy for them. It's not a personality trait or a product of loud voices and bold gestures. Real confidence begins in the heart that knows its worth comes from Allah, not from the fleeting opinions of people. When a child grows up knowing that Allah loves them, that He sees them, that their value is not tied to perfection but to sincerity, that's where unshakable confidence is born. Our world today is loud. It screams at our children, "You're not enough." Every screen tells them who to be, what to wear, how to speak, what beauty means, what success looks like. And in that noise, they start to forget the truth of who they are. It's our duty as parents, as mentors, as believers to remind them, to whisper when the world shouts, to say, "You are enough," because Allah made you. You are loved not because of what you achieve, but because of who created you. That's the kind of confidence that cannot be shaken by failure or rejection. Because when your worth doesn't depend on people, their approval or disapproval no longer defines you. This is the kind of strength we want our children to carry, a strength that bends in hardship but doesn't break. To raise such confidence, we must begin with love. The kind of love that mirrors divine mercy. Not love that demands perfection, but love that holds space for mistakes. A child who knows they are loved even when they fail learns to try again without fear. They don't hide their flaws, they bring them forward, trusting that love will not vanish because of imperfection. This is how a home becomes a sanctuary, not through control but through compassion, not through constant correction but through presence. So when your child makes a mistake, don't rush to fix it. Sit beside them, listen to their fear. Tell them, "You are not your mistake." Teach them that every failure is a doorway back to Allah. Confidence grows in that soil, in the awareness that falling does not make you unworthy. It makes you human, and humanity is not a flaw. It's the canvas upon which Allah paints His mercy. But love alone is not enough. Our children also need to see us alive what we teach. They learn more from our silence than from our words. They watch the way we handle our own disappointments. They notice the tone we use when we talk about ourselves. If they see us constantly criticizing our reflection in the mirror, they will learn to do the same. If they see us give up when life gets hard, they will believe that struggle is failure. But if they see us pray when we are lost, if they see us rely on Allah when things fall apart, they will carry that memory in their bones. Let them see your vulnerability. Let them see you ask Allah for help. Let them see you weep and then rise again. Confidence is not pretending to be invincible. It's trusting that you are held even when you fall. When your children witness that kind of faith, they inherit a strength that cannot be taken away. There will come a time when they face the world alone, at school, at work, in friendships and loss. You will not always be there to protect them. But if you've taught them to turn to Allah, they will never truly be alone. Teach them to say, Hasbi Allah, Allah is enough for me. That one sentence can carry them through storms you cannot stop. It can anchor their hearts when the world feels uncertain. Confidence rooted in faith is quiet but firm. It doesn't shout, it doesn't compete, it doesn't need validation. It walks with humility because it knows where strength comes from. And it forgives because it knows who forgives. Teach your children that humility is not weakness. It's the highest form of confidence, because the one who kneels to Allah fears nothing else. So when you speak to your children, speak life into their souls. Tell them they are seen, even when no one notices. Tell them Allah listens, even when they cannot find the words. Tell them their worth cannot be taken by failure, by judgment, or by loss. Tell them their hearts were made to return, again and again, to the one who created them. And at night, when they are asleep and their faces are calm, whisper a prayer over them. Ask Allah to guard their hearts, to keep their confidence pure, not built on ego but on faith. Ask that they become people of light, those who walk with quiet strength, who lift others, who stand firm in who they are because they stand with Allah. Maybe one day they will stand in front of the world, uncertain, afraid, but they will remember your voice, calm, patient, reminding them that they are never alone. They will remember your hands raised in dua, your tears in prayer, your trust in Allah, and that memory will become their courage. This is how confident children are raised, not through perfection, but through love, through faith, through example. May Allah make us parents who plant these seeds deeply, who nurture them with prayer, and who trust Him to let them bloom into hearts that are strong, gentle, and rooted in Him. There is something sacred about the way a child looks at the world, unafraid, curious, open, believing that everything is possible. But as they grow, that light begins to flicker. The world starts to whisper doubts into their ears. You're not good enough. You'll never be enough. You have to be like everyone else. And slowly, the heart that was once filled with trust begins to shrink. The confidence that was pure and natural begins to depend on what people think, what they say, and how they react. Our children were not born insecure. They were born with a fitra, a natural state of peace, purity, and trust in Allah. But the world teaches them to measure their worth by things that will never last. It teaches them that confidence comes from appearance, achievement, or approval. And when one of these is shaken, their self-belief collapses. This is why we must guide them back to the source of true confidence, the kind that does not crumble when life does. Real confidence begins when a child knows who they are before Allah, when they know that their worth is not earned but given, when they understand that they are not valuable because of how perfect they are, but because of who created them, when they understand that Allah chose them, designed them, and breathed His soul into them. That realization gives them a strength no one can take away. We cannot raise confident children by telling them they are flawless. We raise confident children by teaching them they are loved, even when they fail. We raise them by reminding them that failure does not define them, it refines them. Confidence does not grow from perfection. It grows from resilience. It grows every time a child learns to get up after falling, every time they learn that they can begin again, every time they realize that Allah's door is never closed. So when your child comes to you after making a mistake, don't rush to judge. Look into their eyes and remind them that they are still loved, still seen, still worthy. Teach them that Allah's mercy is bigger than their failure. Let them see that your love is not a reward for good behavior, but a reflection of something deeper, the mercy that Allah placed in your heart for them. When they feel secure in your love, they will begin to feel secure in themselves. And when they are secure in themselves, they can begin to walk with confidence through the world. But remember, children don't learn confidence through words alone. They learn it by watching us. They learn it through the way we treat ourselves, through the way we respond to our own struggles. When they see us break down and still turn to Allah, they learn that strength is not about never falling. It's about knowing where to turn when you do. When they see us face our fears with faith, they begin to understand that courage is not the absence of fear, it's trust in Allah despite the fear. If you want your child to be confident, let them see you walk humbly. Let them see you fail with grace. Let them hear you say, I don't know, but I will ask Allah for guidance. Let them see that confidence does not come from having all the answers, but from knowing that Allah is the answer. Sometimes we think confidence means raising loud voices, strong opinions, and unbending wills. But true confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to be seen, doesn't demand attention. It is the calm assurance of a heart that knows Allah is near. It is the peace that says, I don't need to prove myself because I am already known by the one who created me. Teach your children that this kind of strength is not found in the world's applause, but in Allah's pleasure. And there will come a time when the world tries to shake them. They will feel alone, misunderstood, different. They will question their worth, their place, their path. In those moments, they will not remember every word you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember the warmth of your embrace when they cried. They will remember your calm voice saying, turn to Allah, and that memory will guide them back to the one who never leaves. Make dua for them often. Pray that Allah protects their hearts from arrogance and despair, the two extremes that destroy confidence. Arrogance makes a child forget they need Allah. Despair makes them believe they're unworthy of Him. But between these two is humility, the soil where true confidence grows. Teach them that confidence and humility can live together. One doesn't cancel the other. In fact, real confidence comes from humility, because it comes from knowing that your strength is not yours. It's a gift from Allah. When your child stands for what's right even when it's unpopular, that's confidence. When your daughter wears her hijab proudly because it's an act of love, not a symbol of fear, that's confidence. When your son lowers his gaze and guards his dignity because he knows his worth, that's confidence. This kind of strength doesn't shout, it radiates. It's quiet but powerful. It's steady but kind. At the end of the day, the most beautiful thing we can give our children is not a world that always applauds them, but a heart that stays steady when it doesn't. A heart that says, even if the world turns away, I have Allah. So tonight, as you look at your child, sleeping peacefully, unaware of how much this world will test them, whisper a prayer. Ask Allah to make them brave but gentle, to make them firm but kind, to make them confident, not because they think they're perfect, but because they know they are held by the most perfect. May Allah allow us to raise hearts that walk with light, that know their worth, and that never forget their source. And may He make us parents who remind our children, by word and by example, that the greatest strength they can ever have is to know who they are before Allah. Beloved brothers and sisters, our mission is greater than success in this world. Our mission is to raise hearts that know their Lord, who walk with dignity in any crowd, who say, I am Muslim, not out of shame or hiding, but out of strength. If one day our children stumble, let them not lose themselves. Let them remember they're owned by Allah. Let every trial they face echo back to them, this too is a trust, this too is a lesson, and you have a Lord who never forsakes you. So let us begin today with dua, with patience, with intention. Let us plant seeds of confidence in our children's souls, watered by love, anchored in identity, and overseen by our own striving. May Allah ease our efforts, strengthen our hearts, and make our children lights for this ummah, confident, humble, and firm in their purpose. Wa salmu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.